Check, check, quick sound check. Can everybody hear us loud and clear? What's going on, Coach Paul?
Hi, Coach Jay. I can hear you loud and clear on this exciting Monday.
What a Monday it was. Happy Monday, everyone. Happy Monday to all of our buzzer beaters. Hopefully, everybody had a good weekend, but the markets are open. It's Monday. We're back to work for another day. Welcome to At the Buzzer, our market recap. If this is your first time here, I'm Coach Jay. That is Coach Paul. The goal of this segment is to review what happened in the markets for the day. We may talk about some markets that you have not traded before, but we believe our goal as traders is to identify opportunity, see how we could have taken advantage of those opportunities while managing our risk. This is our first time meeting. I'm Coach Jay, been a Topstep performance coach since June of 2023. Been trading for the past 13 years and in the futures markets for the past 6, and that is Coach Paul. Coach Paul, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey, I'm Coach Paul. I've been with Topstep since April of 2023. I've been involved in the trading of futures for 4 decades. I'm here to share some experiences and knowledge and perhaps help you become a better trader.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Coach. And you are all our chat, our audience. Thank you for joining us today. Let us know how you did in the chat. Were you up on the day, down on the day, anything that you learned from the day? Maybe you stayed flat. The markets were pretty active out there. How was your day, Coach?
I wasn't that active myself. I basically scratched the day in a few different markets. But I followed my plan, and I'm happy I did. How about yourself?
It was a decent day overall. Took a short early in the S&Ps. I did take a long, not in a Topstep account, but in a personal account. I feel like I short armed that long a little bit. Just trailing just a little bit too tight, but not going to complain about it because, like we talked about in the green room, Coach, nobody cares if you complain. So I'm going to take it as it is, and there is a bunch of other days that we can trade for the rest of the week. Dan Trader has a green Monday. Kung Fu, small red. Alex says, good day. Only trade was a short early winner, so I will take it. Good stuff. Down and learn for Shubham. For Keith, does anyone know if the emails have gone out for the coaches' classes? They have not yet. We just got some emails. We're working on scheduling. The schedules should be done pretty soon, and most of those sessions are likely going to happen later in April, right? I'm looking at 3rd week of April for probably most of them, but whichever coach you signed up with, the email will go out for that coach's availability. It looks like right now, unless anything changes, it will be the same day of the week and the same time. So, for example, if you signed up with me and I said I'm going to do Tuesdays at 6 p.m., they're going to be 3 sessions at Tuesday at 6 p.m. So look forward to those emails. They should be coming out soon once we figure out the scheduling. Okay. All right, so let's get into these markets, Coach. We did have some news on the calendar. Actually, today was pretty quiet. We had Chicago PMI come out 47.6. Forecast was 45. But outside of that, not too much on the planned news calendar, Coach. We have JOLTS tomorrow. Got an S&P manufacturing PMI number tomorrow as well. But I think the information, the news that everyone is waiting for is April 2nd, right? Trump reciprocal tariff deadline day, what he's been calling Liberation Day. Is what what the markets look like they're waiting for right now, Coach. Anything you got on the news front?
No, the JOLTS number could be you can literally jolt the market. It has the possibility of doing some short-term swings, so I'd be mark that on your calendar. That I think, if I'm not mistaken, that has roiled the market a few times. Other than that, you hit it on the head. April 2nd, and anything can happen. In any moment, a tweet can come out. So place your stops when you place the trade.
Place your stops when you place the trade, accept the risk, and move from there. All right, thank you for that, Coach. Let's go over to the charts. Pull up the quote board really quick. We'll take a look at what moved. That's not the quote board. That's not it either. Here it is. All right. On our quote board, we have 35 different markets we can trade with Topstep accounts, not just the equities. And today, to the downside, we had The Nikkei down 0.95%. Micro Bitcoin futures down 1.3%. And copper, our biggest percentage mover to the downside at 1.68%. We know that copper made that all-time high last week. Coach, we talked about that looking like a liquidation
Mhm.
move. We had some traders ask about it during the market kickoff last night. And uh, with this being a liquidation move, coach, I attached a VWAP to it, which is this green line on the chart, and we've been under it,
Mhm.
which looks like maybe we're seeing some profit taking from all of the longs that we've had in copper, right? If we look at a higher time frame chart on a daily, every time we're up above this $5 level in copper, we've seen a sell off, and maybe this time is not any different.
Yeah, well, that was a blow off top so far. We can define it. Most of that move happened within what, a half an hour. What we talked many times about it, most likely a forced liquidation and an island top. All of that day, also defined as maybe a hammer. Um, so not surprised on the downside here, but will it pick up steam? We don't know. But I'm looking at that. I'm not in a hurry to buy it. Any kind of inflation news or economy slowing news in China, in Asia, or US, and that could pick up steam and go right back into the soup. But offered some really good trading opportunities. And as day traders,
What we want.
that's what we want.
All right. To the upside, we had heating oil up 2.22%. Crude oil finally breaking out a little bit here. 71, sorry, closing at $71.37, up 2.9%. And platinum, our biggest percentage mover to the upside at 3.43%. To talk about our big four, we already mentioned crude up 2.9%. We had the S&Ps up 0.42%. We had the Nasdaq down 0.19%, and we had gold making new all-time highs, up 1.35% for to round out our big four. Let's take a look. I am going to pull up a Nasdaq chart, and what's crazy about the Nasdaq is at one point today we were talking about being almost down almost 2.5%. Um, Big range day in the Nasdaq, two-sided trade. And if we look at a daily, coach, we had Friday sell-off where we had almost a 3% down day in the Nasdaq, and when we opened up Sunday night, last night, we gapped down a little bit. Now, we were talking about some levels potentially to the downside in the equities, and it was the August 5th daily candle that we were looking at. 19,133 is the high of that daily candle in the Nasdaq. So during the market kickoff yesterday, we talked about the potential for the market to accept back inside this range. We can see we've only, since we made that low on the daily, tested it once and kind of bounced from there, and we haven't been back here again. So today, the game plan was, see whether or not the market wants to accept back inside this range. And if it doesn't, there are a ton of shorts that have been short uh, pretty much since the middle of February that might be taking profits here, right? If I'm up, how many points are we talking right now in the if I'm up about 3,000 points in the Nasdaq, maybe I'll take some profits if we come down to this higher time frame level. But what are you looking at here on the daily, coach?
Well, on a daily, this is to me a crucial um, level in going into the big April 2nd announcement of random tariffs, I guess. But you just said something. We gapped lower. And it was wild. Is you felt like the Nasdaq was up big today.
It
If
did
you weren't watching the change, you were like, "Wow, what a big day on the upside." And it finished what, zero point 0.01 lower, basically unchanged.
basically unchanged.
So with that gap lower, we found buying on from the get-go, but I that has the flavor of short covering rather than bargain hunting.
Yep.
Um, that's that's why you said we have a nice wick off those bottoms, but the trend is still down. Officially, it's not a bear market, uh, but it it did close lower than those previous lows from Friday. It's right there, so we're finding some value. This market could go either way, obviously, but I'm still on the sell side. But like you said, it's gone a long way quickly. It's due for a sharp correction.
For
So
sure.
let's see the half hour.
So we had last night's open, the half hour here, where was a decent sell from last night. We see volume leaving that range fairly early, and really sold. It wasn't the most convincing move where it took a little while to get down there, but once we had that volume come in for the New York session, we sold right into that higher time frame demand area that we were talking about here. Uh, so nice sell overnight if anyone did catch this trade. But here's the first half an hour of the New York session. I'm going to switch these charts over to regular trading hours so we can take a cleaner look at the price action. We had a gap down. Now, if you remember Friday after the close, we settled up at 19,457. And while we were doing at the buzzer, we saw the markets coach sell off another 100 points in the hour after the markets were closed, right? So it was interesting that we had a price gap down at 19,386, but a settlement. And I think that's why it felt like we were down so much because we sold off 100 points after settlement. Uh, so that 2.5% came, part of that was the last hour after the close last week. So looking for a gap fill. We had that selling early on in the morning, coach. What are you looking at here on the 30?
Interesting. The heaviest volume of the day was the first half an hour, but the low was made in that first half an hour into the gap, and we'll talk about reading volume. Interesting. The volume declined through the day. Every half an hour was less than the other. So in a gap, there's less volume. That volume, if it was going to continue to go lower, should have been larger volume. It didn't do that. Actually, we got above VWAP from the session VWAP, and it was bought. And I think that's why I still think this looks like short covering to me.
Same here.
So especially with lighter volume as we rallied, I would have to be bullish down here. I would like to see bigger volume, buying volume that was bigger than selling, which would give me some evidence that longer term players are buying value. And I don't see that.
Yeah, not really at all. Again, it felt like just like you said, coach, a short covering rally. We got pretty extended from the New York session VWAP on this day, right? That VWAP kind of stopped at 236. The market traded all the way up to almost 19,500. But on somewhat lighter volume for the rally throughout the day. Let's go down to a shorter time frame chart. I did take a trade during fast markets this morning in the S&Ps. Real quick, I'll go over that one where we had looking to the sell side in this market for the day, looking for the potential to trade back to that same daily candle that we talked about in the S&Ps. 5530 was that, that kind of zone of that daily candle on August 25th. August 5th. So early on, I did take this sell in the S&Ps, just, getting with the flow. We had some urgency. Volume left that 3-minute range pretty early and looking to the sell side. But once we got back above VWAP in both the S&Ps and the Nasdaq from the New York session, that was pretty much it, right? Those sellers had an opportunity, uh, especially in the Nasdaq. We were trading in the 18 handle, 18,000. 976 was the low of the day. Again, once we got back above that New York session anchored VWAP, all of these kind of late shorts in here have to cover and start some of this rally. And then it was just, buy every dip. Shout out to Dakota. Took a long in the NASDAQ. He took it around 19,190, 159 in during fast markets. And he had a little bit of drawdown in that trade. He was up a little bit, up about 1,500 before taking this trade. And bought it maybe at the high of a move here, where it's just like, well, hey, you're looking for a breakout, and we might not be getting one. But held on to the trade, right? Stuck to his guns. I think he took the trade here, right? Because it was a couple of times we tested that 160 area. He took it around here, right around 11 a.m. Eastern time. Sat through the pullback and then held on to the trade, right? Jack says, when you take the heat, once the trade starts paying off, you got to let it work. And Dakota did. I think he took the trade for almost 100 points. And even that wasn't the full move, but you don't need to catch the full move for the day to have a great day, right? With a 5 lot, he had a pretty nice day in the NASDAQ. Anything else you're seeing on this chart, Coach?
No, that's about it. You nailed it.
Good stuff. It was, not a lot of, there really wasn't much to do, right? They tried to sell it early, couldn't, and then we just covered the rest of the day.
It's interesting of a VWAP, it never left the opening range to the downside. Oh, well, it was in the S&P, it didn't.
In the S&P.
At least on it did on a 3-minute and a 5-minute, it did not. So even if I sold it, turned around, took my 2 ATR loss.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to buy it. It went without me. I'm firmly okay with that
Stuff. All right, so let's take a
Well,
look at the on the daily. We are a couple of levels that I'm looking at maybe going into tomorrow. So looking at 50% of of Friday's range. 50% of Friday's range in the S&P is at 56.77. We didn't hit it exactly, but we talked about this during the market recap also. If we start to accept back inside Friday's range, right, 56.02 was the low, then potentially we see the rotation up to 50% of that level, which is at 56.76, and then coach the 20 moving average on the daily, which is acting as a resistance right now at 57.29. How are you looking at these markets going into tomorrow, Coach? Maybe still looking to sell them, or see what the markets say?
I'm looking to sell them, but not recklessly on failed buying.
Yep.
But we just talked about everybody's holding their breath for the tweet. I guess it's going to come out on a country by country basis. So
that's going to
be the last headline I saw. So I can't help. That's something I can't control. It's the old military slogan: is control the controllables. I'm still going to trade it from the short side. Until at least we settle above the 20. That's the least, but still looks very heavy to me. Maybe a short-term bottom, some short covering look coming into tomorrow. Like I said, I'll look to sell it again. We're on the half hour. We're below the 200. We're below the 20. So that's what I'm looking for.
Awesome. Thank you, Coach. Same level that we were talking about, 50% of Friday's range in the NASDAQ is 19,691. So the S&P is traded through Friday's range a little bit stronger than the NASDAQ did. All right, let's move over to gold. Let's move over to gold. Again, gold making new all-time highs. I'm looking at let's go out to a daily in gold, Coach. What are you looking at here?
Is that the moon behind that last price? We're getting close to the moon. This is, rinse and repeat. This is a bull market until, at the least, I would say a blow off top, similar to what happened in copper. We have no signs of that. This is very regulated rally. So onward and upward is, what's interesting is we're starting to get a little more than average volume we haven't had in a week. So it's gaining a little steam.
Yeah, I think with the volume we did have rollover last week in gold, and it kind of coming out of that. So I wonder if it's a function of rollover where we're seeing lower volume on this contract and then it picking up again because rollover is over. But also what we talked about in the equities coach, right? Once that rollover kind of consolidated range bound week is over, we get directional again. What direction has gold been moving in? To the upside. Is it a coincidence that right after rollover is done, we see the markets start to pick a direction again? So really nice continued rally here in gold. I'm gonna go down to a shorter time frame chart really quick, and let's look at the first
Half
30
an hour.
minutes from last night. We established that range. Price left to the downside, barely consolidated VWAP, right, for the first couple of hours. Uh, Asian session open comes in, sells it a little bit, but I think that was just a pullback opportunity to buy. If we look at Coach Paul's moving averages here, we're well above the 200. The 20 and the 50 are above each other. The 20 is above the 50, and we came down, tested that 50 coach, and just rallied from there. It's a nice retest of that 50 also right here.
Yeah, it's this really that 50 has been holding. It seems like there's an algorithm there. Buy that is a classic buy the dip.
Hmm.
Interestingly, the buying is still coming out of Asia.
Yeah.
This
Yep.
it's been a theme. Why? I don't know why, but we have charts that the buyers never never relented. That first half an hour, VWAP never went lower than the low of that first half an hour. And then when it broke out, it just gained steam. That's why now we see that big selling. What time was that?
This is the first. This is like the equity open, so 9:30 Eastern time, right around that
Uh,
equity open.
so let's look at a 3 minute. And I'm going to ask the audience, what trade is that?
Anyone seen that before?
Tag that with with a theme.
Has anyone seen this trade before? Hello, is it you? Is it me that you're looking for? Right. Uh, we had high volume at these lows. On the next, man, how did I miss this? What was I doing? I was shorting the S&Ps. Uh, I was shorting the S&Ps. But what a trade!
What is that defined as? It's selling exhaustion. We've tagged it. I don't. Do you see any answer yet?
We got a couple. Abby has
Oh, I
it.
didn't see it.
The J trade. Oklatorch says it comes after K. Yeah, we got a couple people saying it in there.
But-
Um, that's a damn nice trade. I missed that one.
So, classic J trade with urgency. Now we were talking. Was it Friday? We were talking about those
Yep.
are trades. I might put 2 or 3 on.
I was paying attention.
I'm too broke. I can't even pay attention. Some trader told me that a long time ago.
Yeah.
But there it is, a classic exhaustion selling, has all the DNA, made a new low, triple the average volume. took out the high with urgency. So
Yep. I did take a short during fast markets, right around here actually, and so here's why I took this short. We had this higher volume here. I completely neglected this candle. I'm going to be straight up honest with you. I think I took this trade for scratch, if not a slight loss, but 50% of this high volume candle held here. Took the short, didn't see any continuation, and now I'm realizing why. Remember, chat, we said, trade your trades well enough to know what it looks like when they don't work. Why didn't this trade work? Because I was fading the actual trade, right? This is just a pullback for the long that was the clear trade, right? The market was trending upwards. I took this short, had some profits, right? Had about 5 points in profit, and could have taken that. Was looking for maybe another test of these lows, but now when I look at it this way in review, that wasn't happening. So when I'm trading this in real time, got to pay attention to, hey, you're counter the trend. And I knew this was a counter trend trade. I just thought there was more room down, and there wasn't, right? If I went through my process fully every single time, and I think it's important to understand that even if you have a process, sometimes you're not going to go through it every single time. And that's why you have to manage risk, coach, because I could we could have something committed to memory and think that we're following the process fully, and we forget a couple steps, right? Or it's just like, oh yeah, I missed that. I missed reading that. It's the way a football player, a quarterback can practice a play 1,000 times and still throw an interception because he didn't make all the reads. Uh, I didn't make all the reads here. If I would have saw this volume, I'd probably get out of that trade for the couple of points that I had instead of what I was looking for.
well, here's another thing. This worked on a 3-minute.
Hmm.
Let's go to a 5-minute. It's a
Same
little
thing.
different.
A little different,
Did
yeah.
it make did it make contract lows on that?
On
But
this 5 minute, yeah,
oh, it did.
yeah.
All right. So, wow. There's no excuse, coach.
Yeah, I know. I
No,
just got to be better. It is what it is. I have to be better. That's okay. I can
no,
own that.
I'm
Um,
talking about myself. I
oh,
wasn't watching gold. I
right.
have no excuse, but I'll take, like we talked, I'll take that trade every time.
Yep.
So why? I don't, just because the selling exhausted. I mean, it's some of the greatest things you can see in trading, especially in day trading. So, and we made a new high within an hour after that, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. New high
Yeah.
up here. So new high right now in gold. I think spot gold is probably above 3,100 right now too, but the new high in the futures contract 3,162 even. 3,162 even highs. All right. Anything else on gold you have, coach?
That's it.
Cool. So what I am looking at on a daily, the daily ATR right now in gold is 38 points. Where we closed today was 31.58. Measure a daily ATR plus a little bit. That puts us at 3,200. That means we have one daily trend day to the upside with no selling. We might see some downward movement, but we're pretty close to that 3,200 level. The closer we get to it, the more we'll see it act like a magnet. So does gold continue this rally, or do we see a 70-point sell-off before it? Uh, we know gold is it's going to do it one or two ways. Um,
Just when you think it's safe.
yep.
But also goes in, if I'm trading gold, I'm only looking to buy it. You can do both sides. I'm just saying, I get into trouble when I get on both sides. Um, and if you've been having that trouble where you're getting whipsawed, and you see if those are your biggest losing days. If that is, start thinking about trading one side. That means you're either trying to buy it or trying to sell it. And if you can't define it, if in doubt, stay out. You
Stay
don't
out.
have to trade.
We got a couple questions here in the chat. Chuck asked, "Do you count opening range for gold as 9:30 Eastern or 8:20 Eastern?" So the official is 8:20, where we can see that right here. And if you hear the team, in the morning taking the opening range trade in gold, it's going to be off that 8:20 time frame, 7:20 Central. But what you also see is there's a lot of days where that equity open time, coach, that 9:30 Eastern, 8:30 Central is when the most volume comes in on the day, right? If I here's 9:30 Eastern, here's 8:20, and that 8:20 I think it's good to look at because sometimes it does present a trade, but I feel like a lot of times when there's news 10 minutes after the open or things like that, we'll just see the volume come in a little bit later. And these are two different trades, right? This opening range trade was kind of choppy. This one, if I look at the equity open, was pretty straightforward. But the official is 8:20.
Okay, and I'm going to clarify that a little more.
Mhm.
Two things versus our opening range in equities. The volume's going to come in New York open. It doesn't trade much volume overnight. But commodities, gold, crude, natural gas, they trade 24 hours a day. It isn't specific to any part of the world. So this opening happens to be the COMEX opening. It's a holdover from pit trading. So it doesn't have the volume effect that the opening in New York has on equities, because that volume can come anytime, anywhere, including Saturday and Sunday. It's a 24-hour market. So I put less importance on the opening, but looking for high volume.
Yep. I would agree with you, coach. All right. Anything else on gold, coach? Or do we want to move over to crude oil, which is finally moving?
Now let's get to the black gold,
Black gold. All right.
Texas tea.
Crude oil on the daily. We've been talking about this 200 moving average, coach, on the daily. What are you seeing here?
Well, we closed over the 200 with authority. We've been talking. This has been a sneak rally. We tested that 200 on Friday, and I think Thursday, and now we've closed above it, and we've closed above the 50. Most likely, I think tomorrow we'll come back. We should test it. If not, whatever's in this market, it's starting to pick up momentum.
Yeah, it is.
It's not slow. It's not like it's powering through. We've also looked at if it's well above that trend line from the high to the low. Yeah, it looks good. It looks like it has a good probability of continuing higher. Let's do it. When we haven't done this, let's do a fib from the high to the recent low.
Like an actual fib or?
Yeah, let's.
Okay.
Do you have to? We could do a 50%. Let's just do a 50%.
Okay, there we go. Yeah. Because if you want the actual fibs, I got to reset.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, look where we are.
That's really what I wanted to see.
Right.
Go
ahead.
Put it. Okay. Tomorrow's a big day. My gut is we've come a long way quickly, but that halfway through is going. Mark that number. What's the level?
72.11.
And today's high was 71.83. So watch that level tomorrow and see if we can close above it. But nice move. Let's see how it traded during the day.
Let's take a look. D says crude oil move looks like the end of month positioning. I'm
Hmm,
still
yeah.
suspicious. D does not trust it.
And she knows.
D doesn't trust you, and I don't trust you.
Yeah, tail too. It, it's funny. And when the stocks gapped lower, this really went sideways. We broke a bit.
Yeah, we broke early, but that volume again never left the range.
And boy,
Coach,
look at those ranges. Those aren't are those one tick ranges in the half hour?
yeah, this is crazy here. This is
Okay, this is
10,
important.
10 ticks, 7 to 8 ticks overnight.
What time was that?
This starting is 11 a.m., 11 p.m. Eastern, 10 p.m. Central
Oh,
Time.
okay. There literally no volume, but it's almost
Yeah,
like the market makers had to put on a one lot just to keep it the computers oiled. Uh,
right.
Look at those ranges. Okay, now just reading. All right, what can we confer from that? Infer from that? Not sorry. What can we infer from that? That there's
No
no
selling at
trade.
all. No trading.
That is the ultimate balanced market. How is it going to move out of that? That's what. We saw that at the top of this of the equities, where we just see the tiny daily ranges. Nothing's happening. How does it move out of that? Um, VWAP never leaving the first half hour's range is another clue. Um, so wow, I don't think I've ever even in that went on for like 2 hours.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. Now let's see what happens when we start moving out of that.
We see a little bit of a kick up in volume right around 2 a.m. Eastern time, and we get out of that range. We come back, make sure we didn't want to stay in it during the London session, and then just take off from there. Really nice
Boy,
day
yeah.
today.
So now we see U.S. Open. Frame that out.
Another small range.
Another small range anchor, and I can guarantee you, without even looking at it, we had
It
urgency.
is, I mean,
Maybe I
straight up.
cheated because I saw that because I was I was along some puts and I saw that and I bought futures against it and it helped my day.
Yeah, as whatever this was, I think there might have been a headline. I don't recall exactly what it was, but there might have been a headline. Whatever it was, there was volume, right? And when that volume came in, this had the potential to be unsustainable, but just kept doing it, right? They just kept buying it, and stayed pretty consistent the rest of the session. Um, so a really nice trend day. It's nice to see this in crude oil, where we've been having some of these tighter ranges. The daily ATR got down to like a dollar and a half, and today's range was high to low almost twice that. So uh, let's hope this doesn't dry up. I would love to be trading the trend in crude back up to $80 like we know it loves to do. Uh, and
It's the end of the month. Thank you, D.
yep,
Let's look at a monthly.
let's look at a monthly. That's an ugly chart.
Kind of looks like the half hour. So where it moves out of here, it's going to make a move. My feeling is it's to the upside, but that's just me.
Yep.
But how long has this been going on for 2.5 years?
Yeah, we're going back to 2020, November 2023.
Even before that, look at
Yeah,
look at
yeah.
that
Well,
low.
whatever the quick little spike,
Yeah,
and we're talking about December 2022 at this point. Yeah, this is I guess I can see what if you look at it this way, yeah. I mean, look what was happening before it, right? These are nice trending monthly candles, and just been sitting in a puddle of crude oil here. So D said too long. Uh,
oh, you want me to pay more for gas? Is that it, D? Well, we have that. Let's look at unleaded.
RBOB gasoline futures. I took this short this morning, this opening range trade. Played out really pretty okay. It was a decent trade. But I think this is a market that, if we look at a higher time frame, has been trending upwards as well. It's that white line, coach.
200 moving average on the.
This is a daily.
I thought we settled over it.
We settled at it on
At it.
at it on the daily. Yep.
Oh, right there.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, settled at it on a daily. This is a nice. This market's been trending upwards. We had. I mean, what's this white line on the 30-minute?
Yeah.
Uh,
And it
so-
held all night. Actually, now we have that 30-minute. We didn't have that moving average. So last night when we were dead on dead,
yeah,
what was it doing? It was bouncing along with 200.
this is RBOB gasoline. Right off that 200 moving average. A couple of tags of it. Why I really like bringing this up. We probably don't have many traders that trade RBOB. I know D's been talking about it. I took a trade this morning in it. This same technical pattern, if this was the Nasdaq, I'd be wanting to buy it off this 200 moving average, seeing it tag it that way. So whatever technical understanding that you have of the markets can apply to various markets. You just got to understand the intricacies of that market, right? What time does it open? What time does it close? When does it have potential to trade high volume? What news might affect it? But from
Dollar
a
range
right,
of the you're
what's the
trading in.
what's the tick value? Uh, but from a technical perspective, this is a plus, tag the 200 moving average in a trending market and just take the trade, right? He could tell us how much that move was worth, but that's almost 3% from that. And that all happened during the New York session. Yes, you could have traded the equities that rallied today also. But the thing about this RBOB move is there wasn't a whole lot of a fake out to the downside. Markets kind of just went. So really nice trade there.
You know what? When we have that up, there's another product that comes out of the crack spread, which is crude oil, heating oil, and unleaded gas. The heating oil. I don't think we've brought that up since the beginning of Discord days. It would just be interesting to see it against unleaded. Now, heating oil that contract can also be used to hedge diesel fuel. They're very similar. So is that the heating oil?
Heating oil, we'll bring it up. I was reading some comments in the chat. Matthew, we're gonna talk about Matthew's comments here. But here's heating oil, coach.
Same
trade.
But it looks like the unleaded was leading the way.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, we got a comment from Rich here on the oil stuff. Around yesterday's open, Trump threatened secondary tariffs on Russian oil if no deal on Ukraine.
Okay.
All right. Any other markets that you want to go over, Coach? Going over the big four. Any other markets you want to go discuss?
Let's look at Bitcoin.
Look at Bitcoin on a daily. Interesting. What's that white line?
And it's what's that red yellow line holding above and flattening out? Well, I wanted to bring it. It's been trading sideways. You don't even hear it in the secondary headlines about crypto. It's falling off the radar as far as the news front is concerned. But technically speaking, we're holding that 200. We're bouncing along. What I noticed was that the 20-day moving average is flattening out. We have a lot of balance here. So now you can go either way, but look at the volume is fading. We're not getting new selling here. We're grinding sideways. We could, don't be surprised to see a big move soon. but it looks to me that it's holding this level and wants to go higher. Anything you see, Coach?
I'm seeing the same. I think with this consolidation, and we see markets do this, they sit in these ranges for a little while, and then there's a big move coming. Uh, what direction that's going to be in? For some of my crypto positions, I'm hoping to the upside, but we will see what the market decides.
So you're a secret hodler, are you?
I've mentioned it. I've mentioned I have some Solana is going to move with the price of Bitcoin
Yeah,
to the upside if it does. So uh, still up on those, but let's see some more upside in the crypto markets, hopefully.
all right.
Right. Any other markets we want to discuss? I do want to give a shout out real quick to Kevin, if Kevin is listening. Kevin is always in the Coach J chat, hanging out in Discord, and sent a screenshot of a trade last night. This was in the euro currency, and he was just like, I took a J trade in the euro currency, applying a technical setup in a market that doesn't get talked about often. But he said he has a friend that trades the euro on a longer time frame. His friend was talking to him about the position, so he opened up the chart. You see this high volume at the low of a move, frame it out, and take the trade. So shout out to you, Kevin, consistently applying information and taking trades from it. There's opportunity in a bunch of different places. And again, notice I didn't quote any prices or anything like that. We found the volume traded above volume, and that was it. A really nice trade there.
Nice job. Can we give him a golf clap? Seeing as the Masters is coming up soon.
Good
Great
stuff,
job.
Kevin.
We haven't talked about the euro currency in a long time,
Yeah,
but I mean, close your eyes. That could have been gold. It could have been Nasdaq. Could have been.
literally
Don't let
anything.
it. Yeah.
Literally anything. So Matthew, I did 6167 in a practice account, struggling with the combine because I'm used to sitting on trades, even if in the red a few grand. I'm doubting my ability to do this. I cannot manage to pass a combine. It's very hard. I can trade smaller, did 91% winning days doing that. Did blow my combine sizing up, but I don't want to size down, to be honest. If I can't trade one lot, I feel like it's not in the cards for me. Size definitely has blown my accounts, but if I can't trade size, what am I doing? My style is to accept a few grand in the red until my trade plays out. So the problem is I suck at day trading. Size is a band-aid. So I need to adapt to day trading. My problem is that I am not much of a day trader. I got to get used to that sooner than later. I made 6,100 in my practice account doing it my way. I blew out some combines, true, but the problem is that my style of trading isn't capable of day trading, so it has to change. Coach, what do you?
That's a lot.
That is a lot. And Matthew, I want to comment on this. It sounds like you're probably, and everyone has to realize if this is them. If you are a person who's a longer term or maybe a swing trader or a longer term just buy and hold and you're okay with the drawdowns, maybe you look at your 401k or your longer term investment portfolio and you say, yeah, I'm okay being down a couple grand, so I'll leave it. That is a completely different game than what we're playing right now. Completely different, right? It's like comparing hockey to basketball. Actually, that's kind of close. There's 5 people on the court. It's like comparing hockey to table tennis, right? It's 2 completely different games that you're playing, and it's very hard to, if you're not gonna split your brain and say, I am in day trader mode and I have to manage my risk on a day-to-day basis. If you're going to look with a longer time frame, right? Like the DCA, just hold on. It's not a loss until you close the position. Doesn't really work here. So with you saying, I did 6,100 in my practice account. Just understand that the biggest tenet of day trading is risk management, right? Where if you can't manage your risk on a day-to-day basis, it is a very hard game or a very hard thing to do. We don't even call it a game. It's a very hard thing to do. Uh, but you're capable of doing something now with that 6,100 that you made in your practice account. I don't know what the drawdown was that on that, right? Did you just put on 15 lots, leave the drawdown wide open, and just say, hey, you know what? Once it's green, I'll close it. That's a longer term investor mindset or swing trader mindset, which may not apply here. So you said, I can't do day trading. If that's the mindset you're going to take to it, I would agree with you, right? I would not disagree, because it's very hard to do that, especially with the account sizes that we're trading with Topstep, or honestly with any prop firm out there. So wait, you say I can trade smaller. I had 91% winning days doing that
On your practice account or on your combine?
on a combine and then sized up and blew it. You have to accept where you are in the game, in the day trading game, right? If you're able to do that in your longer term investments, great. And maybe you don't need to accept this. Maybe you don't need to do this. I'm going to be honest. Go ahead, coach.
Okay, I also swing trade,
Hmm.
and been a swing trader for 25 years. It's
Right.
a different. The difference is size. On a swing trade, what is size of risk? I'm putting in more time, so I have to adjust with larger price fluctuations. Literally, you have to have a larger account.
Hmm.
You cannot swing trade on $3,000. So the function of any account is the equity balance. How much money? Think of it. You're walking up. In other words, is you're stepping up to a blackjack table. You have to manage what's in your hand against the risk that of the table you're playing at that moment. Now, day trading, I struggle with it for a while because my mindset is let it go.
Hmm.
It's just also it's like, oh, I want more than that. That's not enough. Now, what you need to look at is the difference between a daily range. So right now, the average true range in let's just use the S&P. The average range is 100, a little over 100 points. Right now, we hit 138 today. um, you're first of all, you have to look at the average true range on a 5 minute. In swing trading, it's a half an hour or an hour. They're two, so you have to adjust size. You cannot trade big size on a day trade the way you would trade it on a longer term basis. It's a and swing trades, you're looking for 4 to 1 up to 8 to 10 to 1. That's swing traders. Day trading, there's not many days you're going to get more than 4 to 1. A reasonable is 2 to 1. That's reasonable to think you can get that. Maybe 2.5, 3 to 1. But what happens, and where I struggle is I'm looking for 10 to 1s on my swing trade. I take losses. But the big ones more than pay. In the day time frame, you have to trade smaller and you have less time for decision making. You have less time for a bigger move. So you have to adjust your risk reward and your trading program. And if you can't do it, you're right. Don't do it.
Yeah.
I'm not. I've come to that conclusion. Like, holy, it's
Is this
different.
worth me? Yeah, it's completely different. Completely different.
So
Uh, I don't know how long you've been trying day trading or trying to make it work. Um, but if you find that there's other avenues that are working for you in investing or swing trading or longer term trading, do the risk analysis, right? Is it worth me doing this? It's a good question to ask. I think you're doing it the right way by trying it with a prop firm and not with a personal account, especially if you're new to day trading futures. But yeah. All right. Anything else you got, Coach? We got a couple minutes left. Any training material on the J Trade? Rewatch any of the At the Buzzer segments. I think we talk about it all the time. Last week, I can't remember. Last week, were some pretty good episodes. I think some of our better ones. Later in the week, maybe Wednesday through Friday, had some pretty good stuff in those. All right,
Yeah,
got to start
another
clipping
thing,
those, Coach.
yeah, there you go. And when you do review that, hit the like button. You can hit it every time you review it, even today if you haven't done it.
Yep.
But yeah, review. We talk about it a lot. And you might struggle with it for a little bit because it's a little, when I struggled with volume for a while. My suggestion is just if you're learning volume or learning something new, just observe. Don't make any predictions or small amount of data saying, well, this is the answer to all my problems, and then go full bore and like the fuck.
I thought these guys said
Excuse
this
me.
worked.
Yeah. But observe it and then do it in a practice account, see how it can help your trading. And then hit the like button again.
Tell your friends and family to hit the like button as well and to subscribe. I got nothing else, Coach. It's going to be an interesting week in the markets. I already started off with one, right? It looked like we were going to sell off to all-time lows, and we bounced and recovered all of it, and to end up pretty much scratch on the day. So I think today is just the first day of many where there's going to be volatility in the markets. Volatility presents opportunity, but it also presents opportunity to take losing trades if we're not patient enough in our process. Tomorrow we have jobless claims coming out after the open, 10 a.m. Eastern time, 9 a.m. Central. So just be aware of that when you're in your trades, and manage your positions accordingly. Maybe don't leave any orders out there that you don't want to get filled, and manage your trades. But anything you got before we go, Coach?
Yeah, one last, there's a question
Mhm.
from Devster the Great.
Okay.
Is the term lot referring to one contract? Yes, it is. One
Yep.
lot, two lot. Some people say car. Some people say contracts. But yeah, just to clear that up. Otherwise, get some rest and plan your trade and trade your plan. We'll talk again tomorrow.
Awesome stuff. Thank you for that, Coach. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Remember, we do have classes in Discord. Coach Hoop's doing a class in 15 minutes from now. And then we have Coach Ray and Coach Vince at 6 p.m., 7 p.m. Central Time. Dakota with slow markets at 7:30. And then D time has changed in London. So D is back to 3:30 a.m. Central Time with the London Open. I'll see everybody for the opening call tomorrow on Topstep TV. Trade well, manage your risk, and we will see you then. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.